win up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
What up, Marie?
Hello, Julius. How you doing today, Miko?
I am so excited. We are here. It's another Friday evening with Ink to Ink, or Incarceration to Incorporation. And as always, we definitely want to say a shout out to OAA. What that means, Marie?
Offender Alumni Association, where we come to empower, encourage, and educate one another. Because we can't do it alone. OAA is a phenomenal organization. It started in Alabama and it is now in Savannah. It's been in Savannah for almost 2 years now, Miko?
Yes, ma'am. We've been riding this thing and we've been doing wonderful as a team. And you know what we're talking about here now on Ink to Ink, Incarceration to Incorporation. This is a platform for us to provide a safe space for returning citizens, men and women who have come home from incarceration, be it 20 years ago or 20 days ago. And on this platform, we are all about changing the narrative. So often you hear people say that when we get out of prison, we are automatically going back, but that is not the case. We are successful, whether it's organizationally, educationally, relationally, occupationally, we are successful. What do you say about that, Marie?
I say that we are. I say that the word recidivism does not take the GDC, Georgia Department of Correction, say that in 3 years that we would re-offend, but that is not the case. People come home and they're entrepreneurs. They have businesses. Julius Campbell is a good role model. He's been incarcerated for 26 years. He's been home now for 4 years, Miko?
Yes, ma'am.
Been home for 4 years now. He is a married man. He is an evangelist. He's a preacher. He's a speaker. He has a TED Talk. He is a deep. What you are with the deep program, Julius?
I'm a life navigator.
He is a life navigator. So the word recidivism. I would say something, but I'm not going to say because Miko is on the line. The word recidivism is something that we are really not trying to do.
Exactly. And I love that, and that's what we are going to talk about tonight. We simply want to share positive news, productive news, stories, and testimony. Yes, that's right. A man of faith. I call it what it is. Testimonies of success. And one of the primary things that we want to talk about tonight is hope. And what does hope stand for, Marie?
Holding on to purpose eternally.
Exactly. Holding on to purpose eternally. And before we even start, Marie, let me just give a shout out. Matter of fact, you go ahead, give a shout out to our two partners.
Yes, I would like to give a shout out to the man who made it possible for us to have this safe space, Mr. Julius Hall. I really, really appreciate you. The one who says that a debt paid is no longer a debt. The brainchild, Mr. AB, who is holding it down. Recidivism, you said recidivism, he has 3 businesses. He has 2 stores and 1 lawn care business in North Carolina. So that is something that we're really not trying to do. I just want to give a shout out to you, AB, for being the brainchild of Incarceration to Incorporate. So take it back, Mr. Campbell.
And you know, I'm so glad that we have these platforms. They provided the platform for us to tell our stories, and we now have the opportunity to provide the same platform to other returning citizens. Why? Because stories matter. Whatever your story, a positive story, it matters. I don't know what you've been through. You may hear Marie's story or my story, but our stories matter. And why do they matter? They matter because when you hear about how Marie was able to do successfully as a mother and as a leader and as a mentor, and then also you hear how I'm able to do these very same things, then that encourages you. No, not only encourages you, it empowers you to be able to make it yourself. So many people think that I cannot do it, but that's why we are here tonight. We want to drive that point home that you too can make it, that you too are successful, that your story does matter. Do not give up hope. You know, Marie, I'm reminded when I was incarcerated that I began to take a gauge, if you will, of the pulse of the, I guess I would say the atmosphere of prison. And I recognized that in those latter 10 years that I did of the 26, I realized that so many men had begun to lose hope. So many men had begun to lose hope. Why were they losing hope? Well, those that had those long sentences, they didn't see any way out. Policies and laws began to push for them to stay in. Society followed the false narrative that we are these animals and that they need to keep us locked up. And so every time men came up for parole, they were denied. And that denial continued to suppress or to pull out that hope, to stomp it out, if you will. And so you can recognize when hope was lessened or people begin to lose hope, violence escalated. Depression came on the scene. Mental health rose. And so I believe that what we needed to do tonight is we needed to encourage men and women on the inside and men and women on the outside not to lose hope, but to continue holding on to purpose eternally. What about you?
I love that. I love that whole word, hope. I remember Shell Shock Redemption, Miko? That movie with Morgan. What it is? Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. What y'all heard what Julius said, right? And remember when Morgan Freeman said that hope can be a dangerous thing, right? But guess what? I always say don't lose hope. And guess don't have that gloom and doom. It's the way we go through things, I feel, Miko, when we going through adversities. I feel it's how you go through. And I know that being incarceration is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Everybody want to be home, but guess what? We have to be accountable. Can I say that, Miko? I would be accountable and be accountable for things. And there's so many things, like Miko said, when he said, stop preparing yourself to come home. While you're in prison, take up different classes. Do whatever it is that you have to do. So when you come on the outside of the walls, you can start preparing yourself to set yourself up for a job, do whatever it is that you have to do. Because guess what? I look, my cousin say, Riri, she said, you so hard on yourself. She said, guess what? 5 years ago, no, it was like, I started driving like 7 years ago. You know, I got my license and I learned how to drive, and I don't have to call no cab and I don't have to ask somebody to take me nowhere. Now that's a lot of hope, because I'm depending on people or something else. But I'm just saying, guess what? Just do what it is that you have to do for you. It's good. I told Julius today that I talked to a man. He worked for the feds, and he don't feel that people that's incarceration should get a chance, because he said that he have seen people who have did time and got out and reoffend. But guess what I told him? You can't take and say that because that person did that I would do the same thing. You cannot do that. Everybody's story is not the same. Everybody's story.
I agree 100%. And as we were talking about that, what we all need to do is to ask ourselves the question: what did I do that I need to be forgiven for. We often forget about that. What's up, Mike? Mike Kelly say he loved what we do, and I appreciate you for being on. But that's what people forget to ask that question. What have I done in my past that I wanted forgiveness for, that I needed a second chance for? And we are speaking primarily of those that are consistent in their character. People do change. And all
yes,
you
they do.
listen to the stories that we bring on every Friday to know, yes, people are changing. But so often we are glued to those negative narratives. Let me say that again. So often we are glued to or bombarded by those negative narratives. But that's why Marie and I, Julius and AB, we are all here to constantly bring before you those positive stories of success. What up, Marie?
You know what? Guess what? I know Dina. The judge gave her how many years? He said 104. How many years, Miko?
It was over 100, yes.
How can you even say you give somebody 100 years? But if you take and you meet Dina people, you talking about somebody, that's her. Holding on to purpose eternally, and she is a firecracker, y'all. I'm talking about she hit the ground running, and she is OAA Alabama. But she's going to be on the show. She's been on the show twice, and she's going to be on the show some more to take. And we're going to introduce ladies to you all that are doing things positive and holding on to hope. It's a woman who just got out of prison, Miko. She told me last night, from doing 19 years.
Wow.
19 years. So, you have to you have to unlearn and relearn again from coming home from doing 19 years. Because so, Miko, how was it for you when you were 26 years? They feel like you institutionalized, right? They feel like you there from doing 26 years. So when I met you, your mindset was not that way. So how do you feel, after being home from doing 26 years, what was your first thought when you was free? What was your first thought?
Second chance.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. Second chance, and to use it the best way that I can. And if I can just regress for just a moment, I want to go back. We're talking to two sets of people. We're talking to those of our brothers and sisters that are still behind the wall. And then we're also talking to our brothers and sisters that have gotten out and they are moving ahead. Let me start back from my brothers and sisters that are behind the wall. When I say second chance, I thought about representation. I wanted to come out and show the world, if you will, that many of us are looking for that second chance, for that opportunity to show that we have been rehabilitated, if you will. We have been transformed. That's the word that I love more. We have been transformed, as the Bible says, by the renewing of our minds. And now we want an opportunity to show that transformation. And so when I came home, I said, okay, I know that I cannot do this alone. First of all, you got to have resources. And I recognize that there were not readily available to us resources. We heard about those resources, but we did not see them and we couldn't put our hands on them. And so I said, you know what? We need somebody to connect these dots, if you will. And so, but again, digressing for a moment, while I was in prison, you said it, Marie, I didn't just sit and twiddle my thumbs until they say, all right, you can go. No, and there are many other men and women that are not sitting and twiddling their thumbs. They are actually progressively preparing themselves. That's a term that I coined while I was there. Progressively preparing yourself. What does that mean? Well, if I kept holding on to purpose eternally, I said, I know when I come home, I needed to be prepared. So, for example, if I wanted to be a chef, I tried to find a job in the kitchen that I can start utilizing my skills and experience. Or if I wanted to be in clergy or counseling, I try to get a job in those areas that will help me to get experience and also to prepare myself to be the best counselor or clergy member that I can be. There are those that are inside the GCI, that's the garment factory, where they make clothes or boots or what have you. And they're in there so that they can do what they can to have experience working in warehousing and on and on and on. So I began to progressively prepare myself to be the best person that I can be. And one of the things that I did was I got involved in a program called Toastmasters, or another word may be speechcraft. But what we did in Toastmasters is a derivative of TED Talks. We begin to practice to learn how to speak, how to use our voice, motivational speaking. And while I was there, I got in classes. I learned how to speak, how to articulate, how to enunciate, how to be effective in my communication skills. And in doing so, Marie, when I came home, the doors were open. An opportunity was given to me to do a TED Talk. A TED Talk is the TEDx platform. It is an international platform for motivational speaking. So I'm saying these things to my brothers and my sisters on the inside. Progressively prepare to be the person that you're hoping to be, and hold on to that purpose, not just while you're on the inside, but also while you're on the outside. How does that sound, Marie?
I think that sounds awesome. That is wonderful that you took and prepared yourself, because guess what? It shows how prepared you are. You speak very well. Matter of fact, tell the people where you're going to speak the weekend coming up, Julius Campbell.
Oh, that is a blessing. I was given an opportunity next week to speak at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And Emory, we know, is one of the medical colleges. And what they're asking us to do is to talk about our lived experiences as it relates to public health and the link to incarceration. And what I love about Emory is they're not simply just doing research, but they're actually allowing the opportunity for lived experiences to come in and share their stories. Again, as I've told you, brothers and sisters, your story matters. So prepare to tell your story right here on this podcast. We'll give you an opportunity every Friday to share your story. And that talks about the inside. Marie, you and I, there are many Maries and Juliuses and Julius Halls and ABs and Frederick Greens, Paul Thompson. There are many of us who are ready at this moment, many that have prepared, many that have trained, and they're ready to come. They just need an opportunity. And that's what we advocate for so much, is that opportunity for the doors to open and for men and women to come out and utilize the platforms that are offered to them.
I like that word, opportunity. It's a lot of women that are in prison that I know of that is just looking for the opportunities for the doors to open. Women that I know that have been incarcerated for a very long time, and they have prepared this. I've seen them. They're prepared themselves, and they're preparing to come home. And the doors will open where you will have a chance to have the opportunity to maybe one day, if you don't share your story on this platform, you will be able to share your story so that you can be a hope for someone else. That's what Julius said when he said your testimony. If you see that Julius can make it and be in the same mind after serving 26 years. Now I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. He did 26 years. And I'm talking about, if you meet him, he's a phenomenal brother. He really is. He gets on my nerves real bad sometimes, but he is a phenomenal person. He really, really is.
You know, and I appreciate you, Marie, and not just me, as I stated, you know, Marie, in the time that you did and the lived experience that you went through, you know, that I can never really understand or say that I can relate to it as a mother, you know, being separated from her children. And praise God that you have been restored to your children and have a wonderful relationship. And you know, Marie, but as I keep on saying, there are many of you, Juliuses and Maries, that are ready for these opportunities. And what we want to do tonight is we want to encourage them to hold on. I don't know how much time you got. There are those that have did far much more time than I have. Now that, to put your mind, wrap your mind around that. If I did 26 and there are those that have done much more time than
Ronald McKeithen.
Yes.
Ronald McKeithen, he did 40 years and he did not have a violent crime. He did 40 years. He lives in Alabama and he is working for the Appleseed, the people who helped set him free. He's working for them now. So there is hope. There is hope. And he's also a phenomenal person. If you was to meet him, you'd be like, wow. Him, I'm telling you, listening to him, and also Damian Chaplin. Chap is a phenomenal person. You meet him, there is hope. He's the chaplain at old Savannah City Mission. Yes. Phenomenal.
And you know, so Fred, Fred.
Oh my goodness, Fred, you phenomenal. You'll be like, I'm talking to these people. If you was to talk to them, because I haven't been around all of them. So if you was to talk to them, you would not think that they serve not one day in jail. They're really, seriously, they're really phenomenal people. Mr. Julius Hall, another one get on my nerves, but you know, phenomenal.
And you know, Martin, you know, even Martin, you know, has his own organization trying to make ways. There are so many. Foots, you know, I definitely want to give shouts out to my partner, Foots, you know, for what he's doing and how he has opened the doors and provided platforms. There are just so many men and women. You know, Deborah Daniels, the organizer and founder of OAA, you know, Alumni Association, and then my partner Greg Washington, who is, you know, right now one of the leads directors in City of Refuge in Atlanta, and oh my goodness, there's Tom Price in Brunswick right now, who is instrumental in helping men to have a place to stay when they get out. There are so many men and women, returning citizens. My partner in Washington, where I just came from, and I definitely want to tell that story. But Dr. Ron Garrett, who is now a director in Prince George County, and what he's doing as it relates to reentry, and Karima Hanifa in Atlanta, you know, in the Iman in community. I mean, there are so many men and women, names that I can call, and I wanted to call out. Why? Because these are positive stories that changes the false narrative about us not being successful.
And you know what, Miko, as you were calling out their names, I like the hope, holding on to purpose. So hope and purpose is a good thing. Hope and purpose is a good thing. Hope, and when you come out, the purpose is the things that you do with when you come out that hope. It's gonna push and drive you. See, hope, purpose is a push. It's to go together. And I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it. We are here to encourage and empower and educate one another. What you don't know, Julius may know. What Julius don't know, Angela may know. What Angela don't know, Fred know. What Fred don't know, Martin know. It's a chain of reaction that is connecting the dots, as Mr. Campbell would call it. Okay, so we are here for one another. Returning citizens they want to come home. We want to do positive things, and we are doing positive things. We are helping with resources, things that you can know about. We're OAA Savannah. And ain't we're taking it by storm.
I like that. And you know, as we talked about our brothers and sisters on the inside, as I get ready to move to those that are outside, I wanted to encourage them. I wanted to empower them. I wanted them to know that they are not forgotten, and that many of us that are out here, we are pushing the platform, that someone who has the means, someone who has the platform, someone who has the wherewithal, that can help change these legislative policies that are holding so many of our brothers and sisters back, simply because of fear, simply because of a false narrative. I want you to hold on, continue to progressively prepare for that person that you are going to be as the doors open. Hold on to that purpose eternally. And now, as I transition to my brothers and sisters that are home, that are on the outside, look, you too can make it. you too can do the things that we are doing. What's up? I was waiting on her to come. That's my girl, Tisha Fulton, all the way from Las Vegas. And what we're doing, Tisha, tonight, we're talking about hope. We're talking about holding on to purpose eternally. We are talking specifically to our brothers and sisters that have come home. And let me just do a little segue here, Marie. Just last week, I had an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. Something that I've wanted to do for so long. There are a lot of things that I want to do and a lot of places that I want to go. And the reason why I want to do these things is I want to make memories, because for the last 26 years, I didn't have an opportunity to do the things that I want to do now. You know, people had their memories of school, prom, you know, date night, all of that stuff. I never had an opportunity to do those things. But now I have an opportunity to be intentional about making memories. So last week, my family and I, we went to Washington, D.C., and I had the opportunity to go and to see the Washington Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, the Martin Luther King Memorial. I went to the Smithsonian African American Museum, and I was inundated with information of our Black history and heritage. And it was phenomenal and powerful to me. And I was intentional about making those memories. When I was incarcerated, I used to remember looking out the window at, I was at Hancock, no, I was at this particular time, I was at Augusta Medical Facility. And I used to be down in 14, and I would look out that window and you could see the train come. And I used to hear the train and just remember and say, you know, I hope that the opportunity comes for me to travel. And when I went to the Capitol, and I was right there at those bars, matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on Facebook, and I was looking through those bars at the Capitol, and I remember my brother actually said it. He said from Hancock State Prison to Washington, D.C., the Capitol. And that was metaphoric, if you will, because I had come from one place to another, and I was able to see that hope come to fruition. Brothers and sisters, that's what I want you to do. I want you to hold on to purpose so that you can see that hope come to fruition. I don't know if it's a job that you're training for. I don't know if it's your education. You're trying to get that bachelor, that associate, that master's, that doctorate even. I don't know if it's an organization, a 501c3 that you're trying to build up. I don't know if it's a business. It could be a business venture that you're into, whatever it may be. I want you to hold on to that purpose, for you can see that purpose come to fruition. So I had an opportunity to do just that. Marie?
I love that. I remember the first time I took my first flight to Vegas. Oh my God, 4 hours. 4.5 hours. It's an experience, especially if you never flew before. So my first flight to Vegas, I have been to all parts of Florida. It's good to just get out and just to be, to take a deep breath and just be who you're supposed to be, a human being. It feels very good, you know. And an opportunity presents itself, travel the world. Migo, I want to go to Dubai, but I know the rules, the laws over Dubai. That's a long flight. I don't want to be in the air that long, but I want to go to Dubai. And so it's so good to go from Washington, from Hancock to Washington. That's a blessing. So one day, I know, brothers and sisters, let's do it. Live life. Live life, because life is for the live life and enjoy it. Don't just
as they are living life, remember, don't forget the past. Now I have to be careful because not everybody has the mindset that I have, Marie. I don't want to forget my past. I don't glorify my past in no sense of the matter.
No.
I hurt people. And that's something that I'm so grateful that they have forgiven me. And so, but I don't want to forget my past, because what it does is it helps me to remember my brothers and my sisters and look back and pull them along with me. And so that's why when we live in life, don't forget that just like someone provided a platform for you, also provide a platform for the next person.
I think that's that reaching back. That's that reaching back and pulling up. And that's just something that we have to do. Do not, I like that. It's not that you're trying to hold on to it.
Go ahead, Marie.
See, that's the thing about having children. I have children, I have grandbabies. So excuse me, audience, my grandbaby. But it's just a thing of holding, reaching back. And I think that when Julius said that he don't want to forget, it's not being like he said, it's not that he want to glorify his past, and it's neither do I. I don't want to glorify my past, but I remember too, so the things that I won't do anymore. I won't do those things no more, because Miko, I never forget the first time when I came home and I had needed some money, and I said, boy, I know what I could do. And then I remember walking down that walkway. I said, that's something that I'm not going to do. Oh, yes. I am not going to go back to what I used to do. So sometimes remembering, not saying boasting about it, but it helps you. It helps you so you won't go back to what you used to be.
And it causes you to live life purposefully.
That's it.
To be intentional.
That's it. Purposely.
Exactly. And, I remember when I came home, Marie, and I said, I want to help people. I wanted to do that. And so as a result, you and I, we got together, and we have been intentional ever since that day in connecting dots. And I don't think what I'm getting ready to say is boasting. I think what I'm getting ready to say is encouraging.
That's right.
What is that I'm getting ready to say? We have had an opportunity to be a help to single parents. We have had an opportunity to be a help to system-impacted youth. We have had an opportunity to be a help to system-impacted adults. And also, we've also had an opportunity to change the perspective and perception of our community. You agree?
Yeah. You remember, Miko, when those people, the two gentlemen, they came down from Atlanta because they wanted to, being an OAA, Offender Alumni Association, being inside of this organization, you learn a lot. And I like the fact that those men want to take the time to come down to see how probation, fines, and fees, how it affects you. It hinders returning citizens, because if you don't pay your fines and your fees, that can get you back incarcerated. So they want to take and make a difference, like Miko said, about changing policy. And then Julius, we had, what's the man name we had on, who is, he strategically, he writes out the probation, the way right. So it's not that we're not trying. We really try for you all to get to try to get policy change, to do the thing that it is to help those that are incarcerated and those that come home, because we know that, guess what, for Julius, it may have been easy when he got home. He had support a family, he had a job, you understand, it was easy for him. But on the other hand, for me, it was not that easy for me to get a job, you understand. So we it's a tug of war, but we are pulling together. That's where the empowerment comes in. We are pulling together. So guess what, teach one, reach one, we're gonna learn from each other, but it's gonna be possible.
I like that word, together, because you know what we did, as you call each of those names and a host of others that we have worked with. Matter of fact, from 100 Black Men.
Yes.
I have
Brad.
Opportunity to work with Brad. Having an opportunity to work with WAN's Organization of Safety and Neighborhood Engagement. George John Bush and Isaac Felton and Miss Lott. Having an opportunity to work with TIP, Talent Individuals with Power. Angela.
That's right.
Having an opportunity to work with Youth Intercept Program, Tree, Marlon Knight and Sylvia Spalding, and Miss Kathy, having an opportunity ability to work with multiple people. And what we've been doing, you know what, Marie, is we have been making sure that we kill that silo mentality. That
That's right.
that we're going to do it by ourselves and not worry about other people. OAA Savannah, along with OAA period, but OAA Savannah has been intentional about working with as many organizations as we can. Why? Because if we don't, people will have a tendency of falling through the cracks, and we don't want anyone to fall through the cracks.
I totally agree with that, Julius. You know what I like what we talked about? I think this was last week. Oh no, it was 2 weeks ago. We talked about grass top and grassroots organizations. You understand? And a grass top, they have to learn about the grassroots organization so we can help pull. That's still that pulling that purpose, pulling and helping one another. Because who it's about? It's about the people.
Right.
It's about the people, so that nobody, like you said, Miko, nobody fall in the cracks. Nobody get left behind. Exactly. Because yes, so I'm totally in agreement with that, and I just want you all to be very much. I want you to be encouraged. It's, you know, I'm not saying it's not. I can't speak for a man. I'm only speaking for a woman, because I've heard many women that, like, it's women that are incarcerated whose children are in foster care, and they need, and when they come home, they say, one girl said, she said, Maria, I'm up for parole, and I'm going to get my kids back. And I said, well, this is what you do, because I went through defects. I went through going through with defects. And so I told her, I said, this is what you do, and this is how you act. And I remember she wrote me, she said, Maria, I got my children back. So, you know, it's not easy. And I'm not saying it's not hard for a man. It's not easy for a mother. You know, when we're so nurturing, and then some mothers leave their children when they're very small. And so I just want to encourage you, women that are in the inside, that there is hope. There is hope, and in time, things will be all right. In time, things will be all right. And for those mothers that have came home and have to go through anything like that, it still is going to be all right. You just be encouraged. You press on. Do never, ever give up. Even when it gets to that.
Marie, I see. Hold on. I just want to make sure we introduce. What's up, Anthony? Anthony Jackson is watching, and specifically we are speaking about hope. And what does hope mean, Marie?
Hope is holding on to purpose eternally.
And that's what we're trying to do. And we're speaking to our brothers and our sisters who are still on the inside, be it jail or prison. We want them to know, listen, hold on, don't give up, progressively prepare. There are those of us on the outside that's representing you, and we're representing you well, providing a platform, connecting the dots so that those resources will be available when you touch down. But we're also, Anthony, talking to our returning citizens who are now home, and they're trying. They're toughing it out. They're persevering. They're enduring. And we want you to know also to hold on to purpose eternally. Go ahead, Marie.
I like that word, hold on, purpose, hold on. It's another word you just used, Miko. And let me tell you something. When you are a woman and men, listen to me good. I'm not saying y'all don't go through. So don't get mad. I'm just talking about from a woman's point of view. When you are a woman, and especially a mother, and you have to, like, remember when we was with Dr. Bryant, another powerhouse. When we was with Dr. Bryant, and Dr. Bryant was saying how when we were at that, what's the name of the meeting we went to, Miko?
Debt paid.
Debt paid. So when we took and we went there, it was, the woman was speaking. She was saying how some people come home, you in prison, come home and still go back to being a mom. You know, not getting counseling. Some things affect people in different ways. So you need that. Sometimes you need a counselor to talk to. Angela Brantley, she provides that. She provides counseling. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how it can make a relationships with your children, being that you have been incarcerated and gone for a while. So counseling is very important. And we have a person who are connected with counseling. Like I said, Angela Brantley. And that's what Julius is saying when he said connecting the dots, the people that we come in contact with. She have her own organization, the TIP organization. And we need more men. We need people who will say that they will go and be, what's the word, Miko? That they will go volunteer for her. Like she go, was it once a month on a Saturday, Miko?
Mhm.
Once a month. She need volunteers to just be with the kids. They have activities on East Broad Street, and she need those volunteers. So it's we're waiting, and guess we're waiting for you because we know that you can do the work.
Ooh, I like that commercial. We're waiting for you. Listen, as we get ready to turn this corner and get ready to end this broadcast, we want to encourage you. You know, Marie, as I told you today, we're getting ready to start back up verbal and visual intervention. Why did I bring that up? Because Marie's heart, my heart, Fred's heart, Martin's heart, I mean, all these people, their heart is about helping somebody because somebody helped them. What about
Yes.
you? What about you? You have a platform. You have an opportunity that someone needs. And so therefore, that's what we wanted. We want to encourage you. So Marie, as we get ready to turn this corner, I'm going to give you the opportunity first, and then I'll come behind you. Reminding the people to hold on to purpose eternally. Don't give up hope. Marie, go ahead. Tell them whoever you want to talk to, be it our brothers and sisters on the inside, our brothers and sisters that have come home, even the community who wants to help. Talk to them.
I want to talk to you as a whole. I want to talk to you as a whole because guess what? Those who are listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to be encouraged. Guess what? Be like Miko said, and if you got the means to help, and it don't take a lot. If you give a little and I give a little and he give a little, it all comes to much. So hold on, have that hope, encourage. I have a desire. I have it for the kids. You understand? And I want them. The reason why I want them, I work so hard for them because I don't want them to travel the world that I went down.
Mm.
I don't want them to go down that road. So the hope is for them to hear my story or to hear Julius' story, or Fred's story, or Paul's story, and say, no, you know what? I don't have to take and experience it to know that I don't want that in life. I can hear their story and they can encourage me not to do those things. So just hold on, encourage someone along the way, and do whatever it is that you can to just help. You got to be a help in this life. Help because you're much needed.
Oh, thank you. And listen, for me, you know, I'm going to go on a little journey for a moment, but I simply want to encourage you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us that are on the inside, brothers, don't give up. Hold on to your hope. Don't let the time, don't let the culture, don't let the policies, don't let your environment, don't let circumstances and situations, don't let them rob you of your hope. You can make it. Hold on to that purpose. You already know what you're going to be, what you want to do. Continue to progressively prepare to be that person that you want to be and that you even see yourself being, and the door will open. But also, those that are on the outside, I want you to remember something. Somebody helped you. Don't you forget. Somebody helped you. Help somebody else. Whether it's to connect the dot, whether it's to provide a platform, whether it's to speak a word, whatever you feel that you can do at that moment, do it. Because that's what we are here for. We are not to forget about our brothers and sisters on the inside. We are to represent them well so that when they come, others will welcome them. Because as Marie stated, we want to provide an opportunity for people to have a smooth transition into society, not a difficult one. And so therefore, that's what we want to talk to you about today. We wanted you to hold on to hope. And Marie, read it one more time. What is hope?
Hope is holding on to purpose eternally.
Holding on to purpose eternally. I want to leave you with this. I say it often. I might have started out wrong, but look at us now. We are finishing strong.
Yes.
You can finish strong. Thank you. We'll see you again next week on another edition of Ain't to Ain't. See you later. Good night.
Good night, Miko.